Good afternoon, LA. Hope you had a great day. If you don't remember me, my name's Cameron. I'm one of the co-founders and chief product officer here at Canva. And I hope that the rest of today has inspired you with all the visual, fluid world of work that now lies before us. And I hope that you'll leave feeling more empowered than ever to embrace design, even if you're not a designer. But it wouldn't be a proper tech conference in 2024 if we didn't dig a little deeper into the topic of the year, perhaps the topic of the decade, artificial intelligence. Of all the technology we have added into Canva over the last decade, none have been as empowering and transformative as AI. And the growth that we have seen speaks for itself. We've added 12 native AI products since September 2022 and dozens of AI apps. And in that 18 months, we have added 95 million users. That's a number that originally took us 8 years to reach, and we've done that in just 18 months. Our product teams at Canva have done some incredible work to make generative AI accessible to anyone, from tools like Magic Write to fresh out of the oven launches like Text to Graphic, which you saw this morning. And as we've built these fantastic new parts of the product, we've also learned a lot about how this technology is likely to change both work and creativity. While we've shown you heaps of brand new possibilities just launched today, I want to go a step further this afternoon and take a look into the future of AI. But before we dive in, the word AI is thrown around a lot. So let's level set on what we're talking about when we talk about AI today, so that we're all part of the same conversation. For any of you that have been around in technology for more than 10 years, you would have heard it all before. Artificial intelligence is going to be the next big thing. In fact, artificial intelligence has been the next big thing since 1956. And it's a field of research that has had lots of promising technological approaches pop up roughly every decade, but none of those approaches has managed to deliver on the promise of a system that we would let everyday people interact with. It's only been in the last 5 years that we have seen several breakthroughs that are finally making human-machine interaction a reality. And a large part of this has been the development of large language models. If you're not familiar with it, a large language model, or an LLM, basically crunches an immense amount of text to understand the statistical relationship between words. So if I say basketball, it knows that basketball match or basketball player might be next. This has given rise to what we call generative AI because given an input, LLMs can predict an output. And after a few innovative leaps, that output doesn't just have to be text. LLMs can figure out the statistical relationship to images, videos, and even sounds. Now, if you're like me, statistical modeling sounds incredibly boring, but in practice, all of this produces some amazing stuff. For instance, if you want to create some rap lyrics about your favorite sandwich, here's some generated in 2 seconds. And wait, I just want to pause here for just a second because I know Drake and Kendrick have got this big beef going on right now, but AI just entered the chat with lines like, "In the kitchen, I'm a wizard with a recipe so blizzard." Damn, that's hot. As I was saying, it lets us do a ton of stuff. Want to include an image in your presentation of a crocodile driving the Propmobile? Here one is. It's not just LLMs, though. Models that use machine learning are now being developed for other broad use cases and also specialized ones within industries. Take, for instance, the fact that researchers are now using AI to predict the shape of proteins, which helps them speed up the research and testing process for new vaccines and new medicines. Today, I want to focus on the future of AI as it relates to how we create and collaborate. Because all of us at Canva believe that stronger human-machine partnerships are the future of better work. Sometimes you have to squint to see that better future of work because we've had a lot of AI hype lately. And as we come out of 2 years of just non-stop AI energy, we're now seeing people sit back and ask some big questions. Questions like, what's the actual ROI in implementing AI in our organization? How do we maintain security and privacy with all these new AI providers? And the big one, what does creativity look like in a world of humans and machines? Despite all the unanswered questions, we are incredibly optimistic about the possibilities of AI at Canva. Canva's mission is to make design accessible to everyone, everywhere. And AI is like a turbo boost to that mission. In 2020, we dipped our toe into AI with background removal. And it got an incredible reception because it was something that used to require a complex piece of software, some detailed skills, and an hour of your time. By letting anyone, whether they're a professional or a non-designer, do it in a couple of seconds, it was a game changer and unlocked so many use cases that people hadn't even thought of trying before, like creating new profile pictures with colorful backgrounds. These individual use cases for AI have been popping up everywhere for the last couple of years, and it's brought with them their own problem. The AI landscape is now as fragmented and confusing as the design landscape was when we started Canva. You've got all these tools which are very powerful, but also very siloed, and it's up to you to string them all together into something useful. So we've taken the same approach of simplification and brought all the visual AI you need directly into your Canva workflow. No sticky tape required. And individuals are really starting to see the benefits of having a variety of AI tools right at their fingertips. I especially love this tweet from a user who basically summarized our entire AI strategy right back at us, and they're still happily paying $10 a month. But simplification of workflows is even more impactful for businesses. For example, Expedia's social media teams use Canva's Magic Expand and Magic Switch to handle resizing and expanding images themselves, rather than waiting for their really stretched design team to modify them or needing to go and get new images entirely. A major multinational insurance agency actually uses our AI Translate feature to convert their presentations into multiple languages for their global teams. And while they used to spend up to 2 years, 2 weeks, 2 years would be a long time for a presentation, 2 weeks creating a presentation, they now get a first draft back in 5 minutes, which means they spend a lot less time producing content that matches every one of their markets. Those examples are really interesting to watch in work right now, but we are here to talk about the future. And when you think of the future, sometimes you imagine the invention of a piece of technology that just shapes the world. But I think it's really society's reaction to new technology that shapes the world. I love this photo of Alan taking a selfie at the Oscars because there is so much unspoken social change that shaped that moment. And it's only change that we can recognize now that this photo is 10 years old. It was actually 10 years old last month, actually. Sure, there's a piece of technology in their hand, but it's years of social cues and behavior changes that made selfies cool in that moment. It's the obsession with celebrity culture and the confluence of Brad Pitt, Julia Roberts, and Jennifer Lawrence in the same space. It's social media fueling the virality of that post. It is everything about society in 2014. And for AI to reach the level of impact of smartphones or desktop computers or cloud computing, what we're really talking about is societal change. And societal change doesn't just happen with a piece of technology. Applied innovation is always an interplay between many factors. What's possible, what's available in technology, and also what people are ready for. As we come out of this hype phase and enter the phase of usefulness, we need to focus on AI not just as a piece of technology that will change the world all on its own, but as an enabler of human ideas and creativity. In looking at what's on the horizon for AI, I've broken it out into 3 different areas. Areas where we'll begin to see the most dramatic shifts. Shifts that solidify AI as an agent of social change. And these 3 areas are technology, experience, and people. My background is in computer science, so technology is always a great place for me to start. And in the visual realm, there has been so much innovation in the last year, but it's only just beginning. Generative AI is evolving rapidly beyond just spitting out text and images. We're now seeing the next wave of development in video with platforms like Runway ML. All of this footage was completely generated by an AI model. We're also seeing it with new development like OpenAI Sora, which also produces some mind-melting video just from a text prompt. It's beginning to seep out of video, and we're also seeing it with sound. Music generation has come in leaps and bounds in the last few months, which you'll know if you've played with services like Suno or Udio. In fact, Beyoncé has made country and western cool again, so I thought I would see what it could do for Canva Create.
Cowboys and cowgirls from all around, saddle up your boots. We'll talk about enterprise, adoption, and visual pursuits. LA's the place where the stars align, so much to see. Canva's taking us on a wild ride. Come and join the spree. Grab your hats. It's a party in LA. Oh my, oh my. Canva's bringing the heat.
I hope you've all got your hats, because it's certainly a party in LA. Every part of that was actually generated by an AI. I just put in like country and western, Canva, LA, great audience, and it spat that out. From the lyrics, to the person singing, to the music behind it. It is seriously mind-blowing. And I pretty much know what's going to be in your heads for the rest of today. But there are even more new developments on the way for generative AI that will further enhance this dance between people and AI. And that's where we're really going to see creativity emerge. To start with, we're on a path towards designable everything, where all individual components are transferable and anything will be able to be modified. At the moment, you can design anything in Canva, a presentation, a document, a website, or even some swag, like a water bottle. And in order to do that, there are heaps of templates to get you started. And you can customize every piece of those templates. But in the future, it won't just be templates that can be easily rearranged and restyled. In a world of designable everything, all digital assets are up for grabs to capture, edit, transform, remix, and much more. This change in design and content creation is going to transform the speed at which teams and organizations can go to market with content. And this technology is already here for photos. AI editing tools make it possible to pick up any object in a scene, move it, put it back down, and match the color and the lighting to reintegrate it like it was there the whole time. Today, we introduce updates to Magic Grab, Magic Edit, and Magic Eraser, where you can interact with images in Canva just like you would a template. It auto-selects all the different elements in the image so you can move, recolor, and edit them individually. And this capability will extend to video, too, in pretty mind-blowing ways. In the example you see here, this is a 3D rendering based on an AI-generated video. AI on AI. The model is simulating an entire world, and it's moving the camera through it with remarkable consistency and accuracy with how it comes to how things will look like in real life. It has been incredible to see how some people are pushing this early technology to the limits. A great production company called Shy Kids created this incredibly creative short video using only footage generated on OpenAI's experimental Sora engine. And they did it all without even leaving the office.
Everyone has something unique about them, something that sets them apart. It's just in my case, it's quite obvious what that thing is. I am literally filled with hot air. Yeah, living like this has its challenges. Windy days, for one, are particularly troublesome. Or there was one time my girlfriend insisted I go to the cactus store to get my Uncle Jerry a wedding present. Ugh. What do I love most about my predicament? Ooh, the perspective it gives me.
Everything you see there is AI generated. I particularly love the cactus store. Counterintuitively, generation of entirely new videos like that is actually ahead of where AI is when it comes to working with your existing content. But that is going to be an important leap to make in order for us to fulfill our true creative visions. You're seeing glimpses of it, though. It's starting to begin to do things like changing the spoken language and even the mouth shapes of speakers. This video here is actually an example from the World Economic Forum earlier this year, where Argentina's president gave a speech entirely in Spanish, but it was translated and dubbed by HeyGen with remarkable accuracy. While he was speaking Spanish, it looks and sounds like he is speaking in English in exactly his own voice.
The history of economic progress, we can see how from year zero until around 1800, the world's per capita GDP remained practically constant throughout the reference period.
Ooh. This opens up entirely new doors to democratizing content and making it accessible to entirely new audiences. This example of adding movement to an image from Runway ML is also a fantastic example of creating AI tools that respond to human editing. And this understanding of context and the ability to edit is going to be vital for AI to be a true creative tool, rather than just a black box that conjures up a few pretty images. Soon you'll be able to ask AI to change the time of day in a photo or video, or to put a subject in a new setting entirely without changing the elements manually. The possibilities for editing and creating with AI will be even faster, more accurate, and more valuable when it becomes possible to safely, easily plug in your own proprietary data to use AI tools. Right now, if you want to bring your own proprietary information to an AI and ask it a question like, how many customers do I have in California? You won't get a very helpful answer. Information retrieval tools are emerging, but there isn't yet an easy and secure way to plug models into your proprietary data sets and retrieve an answer that's actually helpful. In the near future, AI tools will be able to take into account your organization, your role, and even the context of the project that you're working on when it's generating new suggestions. And for businesses to feel confident engaging with technology like this, it's going to require a lot more transparency around the way AI models work and an increase in the ability for companies to connect and disconnect their data to AI models whenever they like. While this hasn't quite been figured out at scale yet, it is exciting to imagine the efficiency gains once AI is able to deliver tailored outputs securely. We've started to do this with Canva Shield, which is our approach to giving you control over the data and privacy and transparency within our AI products. It gives our content creators and all of our users control over how their data is used and who in an organization can access AI tools. But all these technological possibilities are only game-changing if they're actually accessible to people. So let's talk about user experience. What has been a powerful introduction to AI for the masses so far has been a chat box and some prompt-based interfaces. If you type the right words into the box, you'll get what you want. This is awesome for writing, it's great for idea generation, and it's easy to understand, and it's familiar to most people. But when you're working with design or art or music, it's quite hard to think of the words to describe what you want to see, what you want to hear, what you want to feel, particularly if you're not actually skilled in those fields. If you're trying to think of the words for something you can't even describe, that is really frustrating. So we're starting to weave generative AI into people's workflows properly. Instead of typing into a chat box to change the time of day, you'll soon be able to use reference images to generate the style that you want. Instead of generating a totally new image, you'll soon be able to select individual elements in an image and see alternate options pop up in real time. This has some important ramifications for our business customers. For example, an internal communications manager can use AI to put together a talent brand strategy end-to-end by analyzing key themes from brainstorms and interviews, summarizing and rewriting that analysis, converting documents into presentations, and then applying their brand's look and feel to the whole thing. This process will go a lot faster if AI takes them from step to step within one platform, rather than needing a different tool for every part of the process. Instead of uploading, downloading, copying, and pasting, businesses will gravitate towards platforms that enable a complete creative workflow with AI end to end. This doesn't mean that you just need to add a chat box into your products, though. You need to rethink how an AI can collaboratively work alongside you in a way that it's contextual and faithful to the medium that you're working in. And there's that word again, context. Context is king, context is queen. We're dreaming of experiences where you'll not only be able to ask AI to create a landing page for you in Canva, but you'll then be able to partner alongside your AI to provide feedback, review edits, and create collaborative loops of editing and automation. You might even be able to converse verbally with AI about your feedback. We've just seen a powerful example of voice-enabled interaction come to life from OpenAI. Their new GPT-4o model is natively multimodal, meaning it can understand commands in the forms of voice, image, or even video.
ChatGPT. What equation did I write down there?
Ah, I see it now. You wrote down 3x plus 1 equals 4.
Yep, exactly. So what's the first step I should take to try to solve this?
The first step is to get all the terms with x on one side and the constants on the other side. So what do you think we should do with that plus 1?
Okay, I'm going to try to subtract 1 from both sides, and then I'll see what I get.
When you see interaction like this between technology and the real world, it just opens up a whole new bunch of possibilities. Being able to use your voice and visual references will open up countless new ways to create and find information that don't involve a text prompt. And as we do that, it allows us to reduce the time we spend on production tasks and give more time to creative thinking and identifying bigger problems that we need to solve. Finally, let's chat about what all of these shifts mean for us as humans. As much as people shape technology, technology also shapes us. And AI will do the same in ways that we haven't even contemplated yet. Think of all the ways you've adapted to new technology in the past couple of decades. Selfies haven't just created tripping hazards as you navigate around tourists at Venice Beach. They've also changed the nature of tourist destinations to include capturing that Insta-worthy moment. And while we all grew up being told not to get in a stranger's car, we do it all the time for the sake of convenience of getting in an Uber. There's a lot of excitement about the possibilities AI brings, but it's also important to acknowledge the changes and challenges it will introduce, especially when it comes to the role of people in the creative process. Questions around the future of human creativity and the role of AI in art or music have reached a boiling point. But as more people embrace AI, I think our definitions of creativity and ownership are going to evolve. AI will automate many of the tasks humans aren't particularly good at or just find tedious, like data entry or repetitive design tasks, or like adjusting that logo on every slide of your 135-page presentation. This frees us up to focus on more strategic, creative, and emotionally intelligent work. There is a desire to view a lot of this work in black and white terms. Either it's AI-generated or it's human-made. But I think work is going to exist on a spectrum with varying degrees of AI influence, from completely human-generated content to fully automated production. And in traditional creative fields, we're seeing currently a stigma around using AI as part of your toolkit, with concerns about originality and authenticity. But we believe that AI will enhance, not replace, human creativity. And we've already seen this with our users. They are taking the outputs from our AI tools and infusing them with their own unique perspectives and expertise. Expertise that is creating TikTok trends that we never even thought of, like more professional LinkedIn headshots, which has just gone crazy on TikTok. I don't know why. Let me share a couple of deeper examples, though, that really highlight the power of human-AI collaboration. Take this campaign from an agency called Obvious. They were working with a nonprofit called Alzheimer's New Zealand. And they actually used AI end-to-end for their campaign, from generating initial concepts through to the final execution. And what stood out was not just the efficiency, but the creativity that AI facilitated for them. They created a framework for a visually rich campaign that engaged a younger demographic, and then handed that over to Alzheimer's New Zealand themselves to use AI tools to create content that was timely, responsive, and engaging for that new audience, something that they had really struggled with before. The campaign not only raised awareness, but also significantly increased funds raised for Alzheimer's research, which is an incredible outcome. This is a perfect example of how AI can empower creativity and amplify human effort. Another great example is how the real estate agents at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Home Sale Realty, they started using Canva's Magic Write tool as a brainstorming partner to come up with ideas for flyers, brochures, and even postcards. They have over 36 offices around the US, and heaps of design asks were all falling to their lead designer. To speed up her own workflow, she actually uses Magic Write as a brainstorming partner when she's feeling stuck. And then she empowers agents all around the country to take on design tasks on their own, like cleaning up their headshots or creating bespoke marketing materials for their listings. This brings us to an important point. As our tools change, the skills that all of us need are going to change as well. And a skill that not a lot of us deploy now will become one of the most crucial in the AI age, becoming an editor. As AI generates huge amounts of content, it's up to us to pick the right ones for our context. Pick the right ones for our audience, for our message, for our standards, and our ethics. Writers, design leaders, creative directors, music producers, they're all very well skilled as editors already. And they will increasingly use AI tools to oversee content projects from start to finish. They'll guide the process, provide the necessary frames of reference, use their intuition and their ethical considerations that AI currently lacks. But this is something that we are all going to have to get better at. For example, if I wanted to use AI to generate a marketing campaign, it's my role as a human to fine-tune the AI's output, to ensure that the message is on brand, it's culturally sensitive, and it's emotionally engaging. The editor's expertise and understanding of the target audience is going to play a crucial role in transforming AI-generated content into something that truly resonates. In fact, our own marketing team at Canva does exactly this. Using tools like Magic Write and Magic Media as brainstorming and storyboarding partners to come up with spots just like this one. And let's not forget the ethical considerations. Like any creator, AI can introduce bias. It can also create content that's not appropriate or ethical. Human oversight and regulation is essential to mitigating these risks and ensuring that AI is used responsibly. This means setting guidelines, continuously reviewing AI outputs, and being vigilant about the potential implications of AI-generated content. It also means setting up systems that reward creators for their work and empower them to share in the upsides of technology. One way that we're doing this at Canva is by compensating creators who opt into having their Canva templates or their photos and other creative assets used for training our proprietary design AI. Creators are also compensated when tools like Magic Design surface one of their assets in an AI-generated presentation or social media post, and that design is then published. We're not only going to have to be better editors, but we're going to have to be better collaborators. One of the most powerful roles that AI can play for us is as an always-on collaborative partner. One of the huge bottlenecks to creative processes is actually waiting for another human to be available to throw an idea at. Ask them for feedback, get that rewrite from them that you've been waiting for a week. And because of that bottleneck, we often get really precious about the work that we hand over. When really some of the most fruitful collaborative partnerships are all about radical transparency and your ability to throw some half-formed thing in front of someone who is in a safe and trusted relationship with you. An AI partner is all of these things whenever you want. And it's these tight collaborative loops with AI which will ultimately shape a huge part of how we work in an AI world. Very last thing I want to leave you with, and perhaps the most important thing, is that AI should not be your strategy. AI isn't a sticker you slap on and call it a day. You should be thinking about how you can use AI to build a better product, how you can use AI to build a better service. At Canva, we've been working with AI and machine learning for the last 6 years, not because it's a silver bullet, but because it allows us to improve our product and further our mission of empowering the world to design. From more personalized recommendations when you're searching the Canva library, to game-changing tools like Magic Switch, AI has multiplied the value of our platform and unlocked a whole new realm of possibilities for all of you. But we're still a visual communication platform first and foremost. I challenge you to do the same in whatever it is that you do. Figure out how AI can amplify the value that you provide to your customers while still maintaining that powerful human connection which drives all of us to create. Thank you for listening. I hope it has been interesting and that after today you feel inspired with the possibilities that lie ahead for all of us. Now, to explore this a little further, I'm incredibly honored to welcome someone to the stage who is closer to all of these shifts than pretty much anyone else in the world. Please welcome the co-founder of Runway ML, Alejandro Matamala Ortiz. I'm going to have a drink. You take a seat. Great to see you. Bring it in.
Thank you for
have a seat. So thank you for being here, Alejandro. It's a bit of a journey to get here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Excited to be here.
You're based in New York, right?
I am, yes.
But you have an office out here on the West Coast.
We do have an office in SF as well.
How did you come to start a company like Runway ML? And also tell us a bit about what Runway ML actually is.
Yeah, of course. So we started the company around 6 years ago. Me and my two co-founders met at art school at NYU. Back then, we were exploring with the latest generative models that were out then. And I'm talking about models that were generative models that were outputting like images like 256 by 256 images, very pixelated, where the alignment between the text and the output wasn't really there. But for us, that was a shocking moment. We couldn't see a different scenario where we wanted to use these kind of capabilities in telling stories and more importantly, building tools for others to build the stories that they want to tell. So since then, we have been investing in research to create new models. Not long ago, we published the first commercial AI video generation model and tool. And we have been building applications on top of this research, applications that are useful for creators of all kinds to use their capabilities on their creative workflows.
Was AI always part of your vision for the product?
Yes, since the really beginning, when we started exploring these models, we saw a shift of paradigms on how you will be creating new content. So for us, coming from a creative background, again, we met at art school, but we also have come from a creative and technical background. We saw a completely different change of how we're going to be creating things in the future. So we doubled down and invest in different ways of creating models and applications that we could use.
And who are some of the people that use it now?
Some of what?
Who are some of the people that use the product?
Yes, of course. So we have a wide range of customers and users. We have from blockbusters, like movies, like everything, everywhere, all at once. We have production studios from all kinds, from marketing and advertising. We have creators from different kind of like backgrounds. We have designers, photographers, filmmakers. And I think more importantly, we have people who doesn't come from a traditional creative background. We have people who are, or users who are coming to use these tools because of the easy access to them, that they want to use it to tell the stories that they couldn't create before for different reasons, because it was hard to learn some other type of applications, or maybe for budgets, or different kind of things that didn't allow them to create the different things they wanted to do.
I love that point that you made, that AI is opening up creativity to entirely new audiences, which is exactly what we've seen at Canva. It's not a zero-sum game. It's not like you introduce a creative tool and it removes all creativity. It actually makes the pie bigger. There's more people that can do this now, and it can give voice to people who you don't normally hear from.
Yes, exactly. Not long ago, I was talking to one of our users who is one who comes from a non-creative background. He was a doctor, but he always wanted to be a filmmaker. And as you can imagine, being a doctor with a family, for him to actually materialize the ideas that he has for producing a story that he wanted to tell, it was very complicated. And he was explaining to me that through these tools, he was able to turn that idea into reality and to share maybe with a small group of people now, but I bet that we're going to start seeing more of those cases and more people joining different ways of telling different kind of stories.
It's become so popular now that you've actually managed to run a film festival, right?
Exactly, yes. We just hosted our second annual AI Film Festival in New York and LA this time. We received around 3,000 submissions from people from all over the world, all kind of short films ranging from 4 to 7 minutes. And it was a big step because last year we ran the same festival in New York and SF, and we only received 300 submissions. So I think there's a wide adoption, and people are starting to embrace using these tools to create really great stories.
Obviously, as a technology company, it's really integral to your product, what's going on in the scene, and it's moving so rapidly. Where do you see it heading for the next 3 years? What technology is coming in? How's that going to shape your product?
Yeah, yes, that's true. It's moving really, really fast. So even for us, it's hard to see everything. But for us, the key has always been on controllability. We understand, we work very closely. We come from a creative background. We understand that control is key throughout and creative control is key throughout the different workflow of creating a project. And by that I mean different kind of layers and granularity of control. As you were showing recently, just now, the example of this cat moving, that's one of our tools that is called Motion Brush that allows you to control the motion of a specific subject on a scene that you wanna create. We have some other kind of tools that are for controlling the camera or for adding or removing subjects from a specific scene. We believe that that is key when you're thinking on a big idea, when you're thinking on a movie, on a short film, on a campaign. You want to have full creative control over your output. We're not here with an AI research company, but we are not here making models to do nice demos to show the capabilities of these technologies. We're here to build things that are useful for creators, things that they want to use within their workflow. So that's going to continue happen within our offering of products. We're going to continue adding different layers of control. And you can expect that on each iteration of these models, you are going to get to higher fidelity and higher quality of the outputs, getting to more photorealistic and different kind of styles on these outputs. But for us, control is going to be the number one priority.
I don't think a lot of people know that Runway was actually pivotal in developing Stable Diffusion, which is one of the very first image generators. And you're now heading down the path of something called general world models. What does that mean?
Yes, so we have been working from different type of research for a long time now. We have worked on image systems and now video systems or capabilities. But we believe that the next phase of AI is working on systems that not necessarily understand the visual aspects of the world, but also everything that it surrounds the world. So by this I mean understanding physics, understanding motion, understanding different kinds of how the world is built in order for the models to understand how to generate better scenes. You can think of, like, if you want to generate a scene of someone playing soccer, you want the person moving, someone who is playing soccer, and you want the ball to drop or to fall with the right gravity force. So I think this is the next phase for AI, and I think this is where we're heading towards.
You've obviously done a huge amount of work in visual effects, and that's what people see. But you're also, I think, really in a fortunate position to be able to see people's workflows changing. How have you seen tools like Runway change the way that people work?
Yes, so the first thing that we understand pretty early when we were building products, the first products, is that there is not a single workflow for creators. And I think someone was mentioning early today that some of them start from outlining an idea, and some others going backwards on idea. There is not a fixed workflow. So I think there is many things that we can do with AI to provide this kind of more customized solutions in terms of how we present different kind of workflows for our users. But what is fundamentally going to change, I believe, is that we're going to start doing and performing less of the tasks that put us away from our creative focus. We're going to spend more time on thinking on our idea and less time on those tedious, repetitive tasks that can be resolved or automated in a way by using AI. One of the examples is video background removal, which was a process that used to take very long time to perform, that where you have to create masks frame by frame to segment a foreground from a background, and you can do now with just a few clicks and wait for a couple of minutes or even seconds to get that segmented from in your videos.
Yeah, it's been amazing. We've been very fortunate to work quite closely with you. We've actually partnered with Runway ML to do our text-to-video feature. How have those partnerships kind of shaped you as a business and a company, and how do you view them?
Yes, as you mentioned, we take partnerships pretty strategically to understand how the industry is using and to learn how they want to use these systems in their workflow. So we work with you guys to understand how creators from all kinds can come and create different kind of projects using this kind of technologies. But we also partnered with creative agencies to understand their workflows, how they are envisioning using this within their projects to inform what are the products that we need to build, and also to inform what's the research that we need to do to get to those results. We partner with data providers to provide more customized solutions for enterprise users as well.
Yeah. Oh, it's been really cool working with you. In the last 2 minutes, I'm going to throw the biggest question at you, which is, in a world where AI is creating content, where it's blurring the lines between humans and machines, and it's enabling new forms of creativity, how do you think this is going to change society? What's the world look like in 10 years?
Yeah, I really believe that we are going to head to a more creative world. As we were talking, I think we're going to see more people joining the process of creating things that they want to create that perhaps we couldn't, they couldn't create before. The result of that is that we're going to have access to more things that we haven't seen in the past. I come from Chile. I went to film school, and I dropped out from film school because when you're in Chile and you're thinking an idea like a movie, it's really hard to think that you're going to be able to create that movie because of many different reasons. I believe that because the access of these tools, we're going to start seeing those stories that are coming from places that we haven't heard yet. At Runway, we have this quote internally where we believe that the best movies or the best story has not been created yet. And I believe that hopefully with the use of these technologies, more people will start creating those things that we will have the opportunity to watch them.
Breaking down barriers, I think that is a great message to leave it on, because that's what we're doing here. And I hope that a huge amount of barriers have been removed for you over the last couple of years and will continue to be removed by companies like Runway and by Canva. So thank you for listening. Thank you, Alejandro. Big round of applause.